Jack stepped forward, his presence alone making the air thicker. Looks like it is now. Kid says you're roughing up his old man. That true? The leader laughed, a nasty, phlegmy sound. He owes us. Gambling debt. We're just collecting. Bear, a massive Samoan with a neck thicker than most men's thighs, cracked his knuckles. Rico, lean and wiry with scars from knife fights, flanked Jax's left. No words needed, the wolves moved as one. The fight was over before it really started. Jax lunged first, disarming the tire iron guy with a swift twist that sent the weapon clattering away. Bear tackled the second, pinning him face down in the dirt. Rico dodged a wild punch from the third and countered with a knee to the gut, dropping him gasping. It was efficient, brutal, but controlled, no killing blows, just enough to subdue. Tommy rushed to his dad's side as the dust settled. Dad! Dad, wake up! The man, mid-30s, lanky with a farmer's tan, groaned and sat up slowly. His face was a mess, one eye swollen shut, lip busted, but he was alive. Tommy, you okay? The boy nodded, tears streaming. These guys helped. Jax knelt beside them, pulling a bandana from his pocket to staunch the bleeding. Name's Jax. What's yours? Mike, the man rasped. Mike Rivera. Thanks, man. I got in over my head at a poker game last month. Thought I could pay him back, but lost my job at the rig. The sun was dipping low over the dusty plains of West Texas, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple that stretched like a canvas across the horizon. The air was thick with the scent of mesquite smoke from a roadside barbecue joint called Rusty's Pit Stop, where the gravel parking lot was crammed with gleaming chrome and rumbling engines. A chapter of the Iron Wolves Motorcycle Club had rolled in after a long haul from Albuquerque, their leather cuts worn and faded from years on the open road. These were men who lived by their own code, hardened by prison stints, bar brawls, and the kind of losses that left scars deeper than any tattoo. They laughed loud, swore louder, and commanded respect from the locals who knew better than to stare too long inside the joint. The jukebox blared classic rock, Skinnerd and ZZ Top mixing with the sizzle of ribs on the grill. Beers clinked, stories flew, and the world outside felt a million miles away. But that illusion shattered when the door burst open with a frantic slam. A boy, no older than 10, stumbled in, his face smeared with mud and blood from a split lip. His t-shirt was torn, jeans caked in dirt, and his eyes, wide and wild, darted around the room like a trapped animal. He gasped for breath, clutching his side as if it hurt to inhale. Help, he wheezed, his voice breaking. They've got my dad. They're gonna kill him. Please, somebody. The room went dead silent. Forks paused mid-bite, conversations died, and even the jukebox seemed to fade into the background. The boy's plea hung in the air, raw and desperate. A few truckers at the bar shifted uncomfortably, glancing at each other but making no move. The waitress behind the counter froze, her hand hovering over a coffee pot. No one wanted to get involved, not in this part of Texas, where feuds ran deep and outsiders meddled at their peril. But then, from the corner booth, a figure rose. His name was Jax Harlan, a towering man in his mid-40s with a beard streaked gray and arms like tree trunks, inked from wrist to shoulder with wolves howling at the moon. His Iron Wolves patch gleamed under the fluorescent lights, a symbol that struck fear in most hearts. Jax had done time for assault back in his 20s, lost a brother to a rival gang's drive-by, and buried his old lady after a drunk driver crossed the median. Life had beaten him down, but it hadn't broken him. He'd seen enough pain to recognize it in others. Jax crossed the room in 3 strides, his boots thudding against the worn linoleum. He knelt down, eye level with the kid, his gravelly voice steady but kind. Slow down, son. What's your name? Tommy, the boy sobbed, wiping his nose on his sleeve. They jumped us on the back road. My dad's truck broke down, and these guys, they pulled up in a black SUV. They're beating him bad. Said he owes them money or something. Please, mister, he's all I got. Jax's jaw tightened. He glanced over his shoulder at his crew, 5 burly men nursing their meals, their eyes now locked on him. Rico, Bear, mount up. We're rolling. No questions asked. That's how it was with the wolves. Loyalty wasn't just a word, it was blood. The three men grabbed their helmets and headed for the door, engines firing up outside like thunder rolling in. Tommy hesitated, fear flickering in his eyes, but Jax extended a hand. You ride with me, kid. Show us the way. As they peeled out of the lot, gravel spraying like shrapnel, the boy clung to Jax's waist on the back of his custom Harley. The wind whipped Tommy's hair, and he pointed down a rutted dirt road that branched off the highway, leading into a scrubby patch of desert dotted with abandoned oil rigs and rusted trailers. The sun was setting fast, casting long shadows that made the landscape look like a battlefield. It didn't take long to spot the trouble. About a mile down, a battered pickup sat crooked in the ditch, its hood popped and steam hissing from the radiator. Nearby, a sleek black SUV idled with its doors open. Three men, rough types in hoodies and jeans, one wielding a tire iron, circled a figure on the ground. The victim, Tommy's dad, was curled up fetal style, arms shielding his head as blows rained down. Blood stained the sand around him, and his groans carried on the breeze. Jax killed his engine first, the others following suit. They dismounted quietly, boots crunching on the gravel. Tommy stayed back by the bikes, peeking from behind Jax's broad frame. Hey! Jax bellowed, his voice echoing like a shotgun blast. The attackers froze, turning to face the newcomers. They were locals, Jax could tell, tattoos peeking from collars, eyes glazed from whatever cheap hide they were chasing. The one with the tire iron smirked, wiping sweat from his brow. This ain't your business, biker trash. Walk away. Jax stepped forward, his presence alone making the air thicker. Looks like it is now. Kid says you're roughing up his old man. That true? The leader laughed, a nasty, phlegmy sound. He owes us. Gambling debt. We're just collecting. Bear, a massive Samoan with a neck thicker than most men's thighs, cracked his knuckles. Rico, lean and wiry with scars from knife fights, flanked Jax's left. No words needed, the wolves moved as one. The fight was over before it really started. Jax lunged first, disarming the tire iron guy with a swift twist that sent the weapon clattering away. Bear tackled the second, pinning him face down in the dirt. Rico dodged a wild punch from the third and countered with a knee to the gut, dropping him gasping. It was efficient, brutal, but controlled, no killing blows, just enough to subdue. Tommy rushed to his dad's side as the dust settled. Dad! Dad, wake up! The man, mid-30s, lanky with a farmer's tan, groaned and sat up slowly. His face was a mess, one eye swollen shut, lip busted, but he was alive. Tommy, you okay? The boy nodded, tears streaming. These guys helped. Jax knelt beside them, pulling a bandana from his pocket to staunch the bleeding. Name's Jax. What's yours, Mike? The man rasped. Mike Rivera. Thanks, man. I got in over my head at a poker game last month. Thought I could pay him back, but lost my job at the rig. Jax nodded, no judgment in his eyes. He'd been there, debts that snowballed, choices that haunted. We all screw up. Question is, what now? Sirens wailed in the distance, blue and red lights flashing against the twilight. Someone must have seen the commotion from the highway. The attackers stirred, groaning, but the wolves kept them down until the deputies arrived, 2 squad cars kicking up dust. The cops eyed the bikers warily, hands on holsters. What the hell happened here? Mike spoke up first, voice shaky but clear. These punks jumped me. Money, yeah, but they were gonna kill me. These guys, they saved us. Tommy chimed in, pointing at Jax. He's a hero. The deputies exchanged glances, cuffing the attackers and loading them into the cars. One officer, a grizzled vet named Ramirez, approached Jax. Iron wolves, huh? Heard stories. Didn't expect this. Jax shrugged. We ain't all bad, Sheriff. Kid needed help. Ramirez nodded, a hint of respect in his eyes. We'll take statements at the station. You boys sticking around? For a bit, Jax replied. Make sure these two are square. Back at Rusty's, word had spread like wildfire. The parking lot was packed now, not just with bikes, but pickups and sedans from townies who'd heard the chatter on CB radios. Mike and Tommy were inside, the waitress fussing over them with ice packs and hot cocoa. Jax's crew sat at the bar, nursing waters instead of beers, recounting the takedown in low tones. Mike approached Jax, extending a hand. I don't know how to thank you. Lost my wife to cancer 2 years back. Tommy's all I got left. If you hadn't, Jax clasped his hand firmly. No thanks needed. Just pay it forward someday. But the story didn't end there. As night fell, the Iron Wolves decided to stick around Rusty's for the evening. The owner, a wiry old-timer named Rusty himself, comped their meals: brisket, beans, and cornbread piled high. Locals trickled in, buying rounds for the bikers, sharing stories of their own hard times. One woman, a single mom from the nearby trailer park, confessed she'd been in a bad spot once too, and seeing the wolves step up gave her hope. Tommy, bandaged up and sipping cocoa, tugged at Jax's sleeve. "You guys are like superheroes. But with motorcycles." Jax chuckled, ruffling the kid's hair. "Nah, kid. Just regular folks who know what it's like to hurt." Over the next few days, the incident made the local news. Biker gang turns heroes, saves father and son from assault. Reporters swarmed Rusty's, cameras flashing as Jax and his crew posed reluctantly with Mike and Tommy. The Iron Wolves rep shifted overnight, from outlaws to guardians. Donations poured in for Mike, a new transmission for his truck, job leads at a local garage, even a fund for Tommy's school supplies. Jax, ever the quiet type, found himself opening up more. He told Mike about his own losses, how writing kept him sane. "The road don't judge," he said one evening over coffee. "It just keeps going." Mike nodded. "You gave us a second chance. Won't waste it." Weeks turned to months. The Wolves made West Texas a regular stop on their runs, checking in on the Riveras. Tommy started Little League, Mike got steady work, and their small apartment filled with laughter again. One spring day, Tommy presented Jax with a handmade card, a crayon drawing of wolves protecting a family under a starry sky. "You're our pack now," the boy said. Jax folded it carefully, tucking it into his vest pocket next to a faded photo of his late wife. "Damn right, kid." The bond grew. Jax mentored Tommy on bike maintenance, teaching him to wrench on engines in Rusty's lot. Mike joined occasional rides, wind therapy healing old wounds. The community embraced the Wolves' barbecues, charity runs, even a toy drive for local kids. What started as a cry for help became a ripple of kindness, proving that beneath the leather and chrome, hearts beat with the same humanity. Years later, when Tommy graduated high school, Jax was there in the front row, his beard fully gray now. The boy, now a young man, hugged him tight. "You changed everything that day." Jax smiled, eyes misty. "Nah. You did, by asking." In a world quick to judge by appearances, stories like this remind us, heroes wear many faces. Sometimes, they roar in on Harleys, ready to fight for the forgotten. If this tale stirred something in you, remember, kindness isn't weakness. It's the strongest force there is.